Namaste student, this is Sanjay Lal. Today's title is Minerals and Energy Resources of India, Chapter 7, Part 2, ICSE Standard 10. So we're going to learn about one very important convection sources of energy, petroleum, its advantages and disadvantages. Followed by that, we'll also get to know about non-convection sources of energy like solar, wind, nuclear power and biogas and their advantages and disadvantages. Let's begin. Petroleum is one very important convection source of energy. As you can see in this picture, this is an oil rig. The primary purpose of the oil rig is to drill on the continental shelf to extract the crude oil. Now we'll understand the formation of petroleum. Petroleum is primarily formed due to the decay of marine and terrestrial organisms, that too in the marine condition. Now these shelled microorganisms are called foraminifera. For millions of years, these microorganisms in huge volume gradually when they get buried beneath the ocean floor. These organisms are responsible for the formation of petroleum. Consequently, this petroleum migrate upwards. Let's see how the foraminifera look like. As you can see in this picture, this is a dead remain of foraminifera. You will surprise to know that the diameter is 0.02 millimeter. Let's understand with the help of an illustration come animation the formation of petroleum. Assuming that this is an ancient ocean floor somewhere near continental shelf made up of impervious layer of rock. About millions of years ago, microorganisms like foraminifera, zooplanktons died and settled on the ocean floor. Thereafter, in the course of time, the constant change in the marine condition, these dead remains of microorganisms buried beneath the sediments. That too in the absence of O2. These organisms change into kerosene. Consequently, under the tremendous heat and pressure, kerosene gradually change into oil and gas. Such process take millions of years. The constant pressure and movement of earth crust and overlying strata squeeze the oil and gas through the pores within the rocks. This process is called the upward migration of oil, and the result is the formation of oil and natural gas. Now we'll understand how oil and gas usually found at the same geological condition with the help of this diagram. Often oil locked beneath the earth's surface by the impervious layer of earth crust. Thereafter, within the crust, oil and gas trapped in the pockets in the form of traps or oil reservoirs. Now we'll see what are the steps has been undertaken in the petroleum production. Exploration, extraction, refining and distribution. Step 1. Exploration of petroleum. The task is very difficult. Researchers, scientists and geologists they look for the prospecting areas where there are traps of petroleum and gas. At times it is very difficult to locate the exact trap because of the migrating nature of the fluid or the oil. Geologists use geological map, gravitational map and subsurface maps using seismic waves to locate the pockets. They look for the trap. Researchers also look for the evidences like foraminifera fossils. This is the list of the organization that are into exploration. ONGC, HOEC, OIL, Reliance Petroleum Limited and SR Oil Limited. Step 2. Extraction of petroleum. After conducting all the research, scientists identify the pockets and sure about the area from where they're supposed to extract the oil. These regions could be offshore or could be onshore oil rigs. Drilling process starts. There are many dangers associated with the drilling process due to the upward migration of gas with tremendous pressure, and the explosive nature of the petroleum is also dangerous. Engineers use the water injection technique to counter the gas pressure or any mishaps that might have occurred due to fire. This is the list of organizations in extraction of petroleum: ONGC, OIL, Reliance Petroleum Limited and SR Oil Limited. Step 3. Refining crude oil. After the extraction of the oil, they transport it to the nearby refineries for refining process. This oil is called the crude oil. It is dark and viscous in nature like tar. Now refinery have the task to separate the byproducts from the crude oil. This process is called fractional distillation. You might have learned this process in chemistry subject. Now we'll see what are the factors responsible for setting up the refineries near the coast. There are two important advantages. Transportation become easy. The most crude oil is imported from Middle East country. Now the proximities also get reduced and the cost of transportation also get reduced, and it's easier for them to transport the oil via pipeline or rail. It also reduces the threat of oil spill or any accident. Now we'll see what are the products are made from petroleum. Petroleum, diesel, kerosene, asphalt, paraffin, benzene and naphthalene, etc. Petroleum also have byproducts like LPG and CNG, liquefied petroleum gas and compressed natural gas. Both these gases are widespread used in industries, cooking and running vehicles. This is the list of organizations in refining of petroleum in India: ONGC, IPCL, Reliance Petroleum and SR Oil Limited. Now we'll see the list of major refineries in India and the geographical location. Mathura in Uttar Pradesh, Kochi in Kerala. There are two refineries in Gujarat, IPCL Koili and Reliance Refinery at Jamnagar. Haldia in West Bengal. Assam have four refineries, Digboi, Naharkatia, Bongaigaon and Lakhimpur, followed by Visakhapatnam at Andhra Pradesh state. Step 4. Distribution of petroleum after fractional distillation. Petrol and diesel through petrol pumps, kerosene through the ration shop, and LPG through pipes and cylinders. This is the list of organization in the distribution of petroleum byproduct in India: Indian Oil, HP, Bharat Petroleum, GAIL, GSPC and Reliance Petroleum Limited. Now we'll see the distribution of petroleum in India, or we can say the percentage of crude oil has been extracted from oil fields. Maharashtra comprises of 63% of crude oil from Mumbai High. Gujarat mainly comprises of 18% of crude oil from Cambay and Ankleshwar. State of Assam comprises of 16% of crude oil from Digboi and Naharkatia. These are the locations of the recent discoveries of crude oil in India: Krishna Godavari Basin in Andhra Pradesh, Moran in Assam, and Kalol Mehsana and Dholka in Gujarat. Now we'll see the India's status on petroleum. Does not meet its own requirement, and 70% of crude oil is imported from Middle East, Russia and US. Now we're going to learn about the non-convection sources of energy. Such energy sources are unlimited in nature, like solar, wind, nuclear and biogas. Now we'll begin with solar energy. Solar energy is defined as the transformation of energy that is present in the sun, one of the renewable energy sources. Once the sunlight passes through the Earth's atmosphere, most of it in the form of visible light and infrared radiation. In the modern time, we use solar cell panels used to convert this energy into electricity. These panels are called PVC, photovoltaic cells. Energy collected from the sun via photovoltaic cells are being diverted towards the storage in the batteries, and that can be transmitted from there where it is required. What are the advantages and disadvantages of solar energy? Available freely and in abundance. Environment friendly and clean energy. There is no pollution or side effect. It can be tapped on the large scale anywhere. Advantage to India: tropical country and plenty of heat available. Disadvantages: low efficiency of energy generation. Installation of solar panel or initial cost of solar panel installation is quite expensive, but in the longer run there are benefits. Intensity of the sunlight depend on the seasonal change, weather and latitudinal position. If it is cloudy, then it's difficult to tap the energy from the sun. Now we'll see the second important non-convection sources of energy: wind. Electricity generated through windmills only in the areas with high wind velocity. As you can see in this picture, these are large windmills installed near the coastal areas. It works very well with the changing local wind patterns. Area with less strong winds may not benefit, but in the longer run will get abundant amount of energy. Energy loss during the transmission is a common factor. Advantages and disadvantages of wind energy: available freely in abundance, renewable source of energy, environment friendly and clean energy. There are certain disadvantages. Wind turbines covers large area, suitable at the seashore, islands and hilly region, not at all the places, create lots of noise. Now we'll see one of the very revolutionary non-convection source of energy. If this energy has been used in a very wise manner, this will be one of the future energy source: nuclear power. Nuclear energy holds neutrons and protons. It can be used to produce electricity. The raw material uses uranium, plutonium, beryllium and thorium. Thorium has to be converted into uranium before you use it for generation of power. It requires a lot of technical know-how, knowledge about how to use such fuel. Usually nuclear power plants have been constructed near the water bodies for the cooling purpose. Factors that benefiting the growth of nuclear power plants in India. You'll be surprised to know that uranium available in copper belts of Bihar, Aravalli ranges of Rajasthan. Thorium found in Kerala. 50% of world thorium is found in Kerala that can be used to extract enriched uranium. India is one among the 6 countries to achieve the capability of setting up the nuclear power plant independently. At present, the development and the research or the technical know-how is recent in India, but the future ahead is very prosperous. Nuclear power stations in India: Tarapur in Maharashtra, Kalpakkam in Tamil Nadu, Rana Pratap Sagar in Rajasthan, Narora in Uttar Pradesh and Kakrapara in Gujarat. Now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of nuclear fuel. Use of nuclear fuel reduces the burden on the coal and petroleum. It also lowers the greenhouse emission and reduces the pollution level. Cost effective in the longer run. There are many disadvantages. There is always a threat is associated with the nuclear fuel. It may cause massive pollution hazard if it has not been controlled properly. Disposal of nuclear waste is a big problem because it contains radioactive substances. There is always be a threat of nuclear accidents if it is not been controlled properly. The initial cost of setting up the nuclear power plant is too high. The negative aspect of nuclear fuel is what making of weapons. It is also the prime target for the terrorist activities. Now we'll see the fourth important non-conventional source of energy called biogas. Biogas refers to a mixture of gases produced by the anaerobic decomposition of organic matter that includes cow dung, agricultural waste, the green waste that is mainly collected from the agricultural land. It also includes the plant residue and the food waste. Biogas consists of methane, CH4, carbon dioxide, along with that its small amount of hydrogen sulfate and a lot of moisture present in that. Very clean fuel that is being used widespread in the rural areas. Now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of use of biogas. Biogas burns without any smoke, hence it is not much harmful. It contains CO2, CO, NO2 and SO2. The slurry or the waste produced after the production of biogas that can be used as a manure. Biogas plants requires very little installation cost and it becomes self-sufficient for 3 to 4 months. Disadvantages. After certain limit, it is difficult to enhance the efficiency of biogas. In a longer run, it is not economically viable because it cannot be produced on a large scale. The usage of biogas, it also generates methane, and when it mixed with the oxygen, it has become very volatile and is highly inflammable in nature. Thank you for watching the presentation.